Hi everybody and welcome to Express Golf. I'm Tom Denby. Now today I'm going to review the One Length Cobra Speedzone iron. So there's a combination of a couple of things here. We've also got the head, what the technology is doing in the head, but also my opinion and my view of what One Length is supposed to do and who it's targeted at, and do I think it's worthwhile. So it's going to be very interesting to see what I think of these. As always, let's see what Cobra is saying on their website about this product and the technology that goes into it. So we've got the Speedzone, so our first ever carbon fibre top line with a power shell technology and speed back shaping, delivering maximum speed, power and forgiveness. So when we look at the carbon fibre top line, which is very new, so that has a higher strength to weight ratio than steel and saves 3 grams to lower the centre of gravity, maximise ball speed. Also looks good. Then we've got the forged power shell face. A forged power shell face insert features a 35% larger sweet spot zone area, an 8% deeper undercut to enhance ball speed and launch across the face. So then we've got a speed back shape, so more stability and off-centre hits. Extreme heel-toe weighting creates a lower centre of gravity and a higher moment of inertia than most traditional iron shapes allow. And then excellent sound and feel. So the medallion in the back of it is a lightweight medallion which features aluminium, TPU and acrylic foam that work together to dampen the vibrations for excellent sound and feel. So in simple terms, they've put a golf club that's low the centre of gravity, helped to increase ball speed, but also that is very, very forgiving. So let's put it to the test and let's see if it's exactly what's happening. So do the specs of the golf club change and what's going on from a shaft perspective when we look at the One Length? So the shafts they put in there, we've got the recoil in the graphite, which is a really, really good shaft. We've then got the KBS, and interestingly what they do is they put different shafts through the set. So the 4 to 6 iron, we've got KBS Tour 80, the 7 to 9 iron, we've got KBS Tour 90, and the pitching wedge, we've got KBS Wedge Flex, which is heavier. We then put the Lampkin Crossline Blue grip on there, really, really nice feeling grip in that side of it. When we look at the spec of the golf club, obviously all the shafts are the same length at 37.5 inches. We've then also got a change in lie angle in comparison to a standard set. It's almost backwards. So you've got 65-degree lie angle for a 4 iron and 61.5-degree angle for a sand wedge in the One Length. Now when we look at that compared to a standard set of irons, you've then got almost the other way round. So you've got 62-degree lie angle for a 4 iron and 65 for a stand iron, and that's all because of the wedge flex. So, because of the length of the shaft. So the key to that is they're gonna look slightly different because it's all gonna feel very different. Is it wrong? Who knows? You know, if we're always using One Length shafts from day dot, nobody would know any difference. Now this is the first time I've actually tried the One Length iron, and I'm actually very intrigued by it. So interestingly, I've always had because I'm tall, I've always had my sand iron and pitching wedge longer than my standard set of golf clubs because I always felt I was bent over too much with it. So when I put the 9 iron behind the ball and set up the 9 iron, it actually feels very comfortable. So even though it's a 7 iron length, it feels very, very comfortable because I'm tall. So is that me? I don't know, but it feels a very, very comfortable feeling. And putting the swing on it, it feels very, very good. It's definitely different than using a normal 9 iron because we're so used to using that shorter length. But I do like it. I like the way it feels behind the golf ball in terms of from a setup perspective. It helps me keep my posture. And it's generated some decent numbers as well. So going into the 7 iron, the 7 iron obviously feels normal. It's the normal shaft length of a 7 iron. This golf club, in terms of the longer club, starts to look very unique behind the golf ball because of the carbon top line to it. I think it looks great. It actually gives it the appeal of not being as clunky a head as what it potentially might be. It's a really nice shape behind it and feels really good off it. Definitely generating a really good bit of clubhead speed there and ball speed. So now we've got the 5 iron, so obviously same length shaft. This is the strangest one for me. Obviously it feels quite short, it feels very comfortable to set up because obviously it's the same length as a 7 iron. And because of the lie angles being the opposite way round, it actually has the appearance of being quite upright in comparison. I'm used to that because my irons are normally upright, but you might find that a little bit strange initially. And in terms of the actual design of the head, one thing that does give me a slight bugbear with these irons is I can see the back of the golf club sticking out on the 5 iron, which I'll be able to see on the 4 iron as well. I still like the carbon finish to the top of the top line, but it just appears at the back there. So for me, that's a little bit off-putting. But for a handicapped golfer, you might think actually that promotes some confidence that there's a bit of golf club there that's going to help you. But in terms of the way it performs, it's great. Because of the tech in the head, it's really flying off it, and because of the shorter length shaft, it's got a really comfortable feeling to it. Okay, so let's have a look at the numbers on Trackman and see the difference between 9 iron, 7 iron and 5 iron. So when we initially first look at the clubhead speed that we've got here, we've got 86 miles an hour 9 iron, we've got 87 with the 7 iron, we've got 87 with the 5 iron. So fairly consistent because of the length of the shaft. Ball speed changes dramatically because of the loft. So 109 with the 9 iron, 121 with the 7 iron, 127 with the 5 iron. Interestingly, the spin and the launch angles obviously change. The spin goes down with the 5 iron and up with the 9 iron, which you're going to expect. And then when we get the crunch of the distances of it, we've got 141 with a 9 iron, which is quite a big 9 iron. We've got 164 with a 7 iron, which is about standard, and 179 on average with the 5 iron. So maybe slightly lower than I expect by 3 or 4 yards with the 5 iron. But you've also got to remember that what Cobra do from the 5 iron perspective and upwards is put the lighter shaft in to help compensate that, which I didn't do with this. So it'd be it would then compensate for that. It would allow you to hit that further. So probably normal numbers in terms of distances that you expect with normal length golf clubs. So what's my verdict of the Cobra SZ Speedzone One Length irons? First, let's think about the head. I really like the design, the technology that's gone into the head. I didn't quite like the fact you could see the back in the longer irons, but that's just my personal preference. The shape of the shorter irons was really nice. In terms of the one length technology, very, very interesting. I'm also half thinking now, actually, I'm going to give these a go because there was no difference in terms of the numbers that came out of the distance that I hit it. And it felt quite normal, to be fair. The 9 iron being a bit longer felt great because I'm taller. The longer irons then felt really comfortable because you've got a 7 iron shaft. So actually it's very much worth looking at it. Is it just for beginners and new golfers to the game? Probably not at all, hence why Bryson DeChambeau uses it. So actually there's a lot of value in this, a lot of value. I think one thing that I'm keen as a golf coach to get across is that if I was fitting a beginner out, this is a great way to start. Start one length, everything's the same, and carry on with it. If I'm fitting a golfer that struggles with longer irons, this is probably a great option as well. So there's a lot of food for thought here, and I'm very interested to try a set like this for a period of time to see if it makes a difference. So thanks for watching the Express Golf channel. I've been Tom Denby. If you enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell button so you get the notification of all our new videos. And we look forward to seeing you soon.